Nothing will crush a real estate investor's spirit like landlord stress. The difference between being successful and miserable in managing properties is education. Welcome to Landlord University, where landlords learn. Landlord University is recorded from inside the RentPrep office, where Stephen White and Jeff Pearson share the lessons learned from working with some of the most successful landlords.
Welcome to Landlord University, Night School. I'm Jeff Pearson, and this is my co-host,
Stephen White.
Hello, Stephen. How are you doing?
Good, Jeff.
Good.
We're talking about swimming pools, and obviously there's a lot of activity going on here at RentPrep. You can tell it's summer. This is our busy season. But definitely swimming pools is one of those things that a landlord first looks at it, and it's a gigantic liability. But depending on what kind of property you have, it could also be, a great attraction for good quality tenants. So definitely an interesting topic.
Yes, and there are a number of different things about the topic. One is the simple things like maintenance. If you have a swimming pool in the backyard of a single family residence and you're renting the place out, if you leave it up to the tenant to take care of the maintenance, odds are it's not going to get taken care of. So I think one of the first things about a swimming pool is it makes sense to pay a professional to take care of the swimming pool.
Definitely. It's tough to keep patios clean sometimes.
Yes.
Cleaning the pool is, it can be a pretty daunting task. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of maintenance. And depending on where you live, that swimming season may be, a good part of the year. So I definitely agree. Pay a professional, get it done right, and make sure it's done consistently. It's going to save you in the long run on, maintenance and things like that anyway.
Yes. And maintaining a pool is equal parts art and science. You need somebody who knows how to take care of it to keep it from turning green every other week. I've been through my share of trying to keep pools clean, and it's difficult to do.
Yeah. Can't you just imagine that phone call? Listen, I know I'm supposed to be taking care of the pool, but the water's green and now I want a reduction on my rent.
You're right.
Right. So, I agree with you too. Definitely, there's a science to it, keeping it not only clean but safe also for people to use. That's a concern for the landlord as well.
Absolutely. So in addition to maintaining the pool, you also have those concerns about liability. Simple things like if you have a multifamily or multi-unit property and you've got a swimming pool and you put up a sign that says, no unsupervised children, are you setting yourself up for disaster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Legally you can. Legally you can put the sign up there and say, nobody here can swim under the, no minors. There must be, must have adult supervision or must be accompanied by a parent or an adult. There's not that there's anything illegal about saying that, because obviously it is unsafe for a child to be swimming unsupervised. So,
right.
It's perfectly legal. But again, who's monitoring that too? So it's also a good idea if you have a single family or whatever to, wouldn't be a bad idea to routinely just drop in and check, or have a property manager that's dropping in and checking as well, just to make sure that the rules are being followed and it's not complete chaos there.
Right. And like everything, if you drop in and check, make sure you document your visit. Mm-hmm. What did you see? What were you looking for? What was the date and time that you visited? Because if it does come back to you, you want to be able to show, I did take these steps to try to monitor it from time to time.
Right, definitely. And another, level of protection that the landlords can add is obviously an addendum, a swimming pool addendum to the lease that outlines all of your rules and makes it very clear and makes everyone sign it. And so they acknowledge those rules as well. So, they're not just posted rules that people tend to ignore, at the actual pool itself, mm-hmm. but, legal documentation that, listen, I went over these rules and these were rules that you understood, that there are, no children to be swimming unsupervised, here's the hours that you can swim or whatever the case may be. You have your own specific rules for it in that addendum.
Right. And again, if you have a multifamily or multi-unit property, it wouldn't hurt to once a year, like at the beginning of the swimming season, send out a letter or maybe even a refrigerator magnet that has those rules on there so that people are reminded of the rules that they signed the addendum for.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, it's tough, especially with the way the market is on the single family homes. A lot of accidental landlords. This is a huge issue because a lot of these houses that they once owned and couldn't sell and they're now renting out were originally intended to be occupied by the homeowner, and so there are nice amenities like pools and hot tubs and things like that. So you can't very well just rip them out necessarily. So you have to deal with it.
Yes. Now, in California, I think it's a statewide law. It might be just by the cities, but most of the cities around here require that there be a gate separating the pool
Yep.
from the rest of the backyard. And you need to be sure of what your local laws are. And if it requires that, make sure you're set up for that before you rent the property. Because if you don't have those gates and fences and somebody does get hurt or drown or whatever, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, definitely your local code for sure has a huge part in it. I'm in New York and we've got the same law here. It's got to be fenced in. It's got to be gated so that a kid can't just wander over and fall into the pool. So definitely check your local ordinances and make sure that everything is up to code because, obviously that's the fastest way to lose any kind of lawsuit or anything is if you were wrong in the first place.
Yes. And you're going back to maintenance and keeping things up to code. It wouldn't hurt, even if you don't have a professional coming in to take care of the pool, make sure you have somebody come in at least once a year to inspect the pool and the pool area to make sure that everything is up to code so that you don't open yourself up to some type of liability there.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, it takes a little extra, attention and a little extra acknowledgement on the landlord's part, but I have definitely, seen it be successful. It doesn't have to be a disaster or a huge pain for the landlord. I think if they, go into it right, have that addendum, make sure the rules are clear ahead of time, make sure that there's some decent enforcement of the rules, or at least managing them and making sure that people are following them. Like you said, that refrigerator magnet once a year, I think that's a great idea, or a flyer that goes out in the beginning of the summer as the pool gets opened up. But again, it could be a huge incentive or attraction for a tenant. Say, wow, this place has everything I want and a pool, or this place doesn't meet a couple of things I wanted, but hey, it's got a pool. So
Exactly.
yeah, definitely. It could be a winner for the landlord for sure.
Makes good sense. Well, Stephen, I think that wraps up another evening of night school. I'll look forward to talking with you tomorrow evening.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for listening to Landlord University, and remember to visit rentprep.com/landlordu to see show notes and access free resources like forms and guides. And be sure to check out Jeff Pearson hosting his own hit podcast at thementorimpact.com.